Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this Wednesday morning. Last night, Martin O'Neill and the backroom staff. I'll tell you one thing, Martin O'Neill, do you think he's on an hourly rate and he's just putting in the hours just to pump up his pay before he leaves Celtic? He's definitely putting in a shift whilst he is at Celtic. In an interim position, he's had Sean Maloney, Steve McManus and Fozzie with him last night, taking in the Hibernian game. And Hibernian Hibsed it. Yes, Hibernian Hibsed it. That's the only way to look at it. And I've no idea why Hibs were even playing last night. When you look at Hibs, they've now played 14 games. They've played more games than any other team. But yet, they find themselves only in third position. I mean, I thought Hibs were doing quite well this season, but it seems that Motherwell were the team that are doing better than Hibernian, considering that Hibernian have played 14 games, Celtic have played 12 games, Rangers have only played 12 games as well, and they'll be looking at the fact that Hibs are on the same points as them. They'll win their games and they'll go 6 points in front. Celtic, it just shows you how important it is. I mean, when we go away to Hibernian, I think that it's always a hard game at Hibs. It's a must-win game, that is for sure. But before that, all that did to the league table is put Motherwell up above Rangers on goal difference. Yes, Motherwell have scored more goals than the Rangers, who are now down to 5th position in the league. It's amazing how much confidence the one team has that's in 5th position in the league. I just don't get that at all. But you'd rather have the points on the board, as they say. So with Martin O'Neill taking in the game last night, he will take to the press conference at Lennox Town today after... Oh, the Celtic players will be coming into Lennox Town. It would have been a late night for Martin O'Neill last night. Early into the training centre today. I think that the backroom staff will be kind of glad when O'Neill goes and they'll get some time to themselves, because they've been quite a few games watching opponents, and I think it's good actually. I think it's proper going old school style. I see that Derek McInnes did take in the game last night as well, to see how the other teams are playing, and I just think it is the mark of a good manager that goes and sees games in person. The previous manager said that he used to watch all the games on television. You don't see what players are doing off the ball, and when you're watching it on telly, you don't see how how teams are moving formation wise when you're not at games. You know, there's a lot that when you're watching TV that you miss out on when you're not at the game. I mean, the TV basically just follows the ball around the pitch. It's no use when you're trying to tactically outsmart and outmaneuver an opponent. So the fact that Martin O'Neill did take in that game last night with the backroom staff before travelling to Rotterdam. We should have had some hardcore techno in this morning. We don't have any hardcore techno, do we? No. We could do a... Or... Nah. There we go. Some hardcore techno in the morning. Hell, the fans heading to Rotterdam. Rotterdam's in the house. Yeah, Rotterdam. Celtic head to Rotterdam to play Feyenoord tomorrow evening in the Europa. The Europa League. Do we really need to see the Europa table? I mean, it's not great reading for Celtic when you see it. I mean, when you look at some of the teams that are up in automatic qualifying place. Yes, when you see the teams that are up in the automatic qualifying place, Midtjylland, who dismantled Celtic, they're having a fine run in the Europa. And that's where Celtic should be basing themselves. None of this, the Celtic management, the hierarchy that is, not the management, the football management, the hierarchy should be looking at this Europa League table and looking and saying, what are these teams doing right that we are ultimately doing wrong? Because this is where we should be. Celta Vigo, I mean, they're in 4th position. Braga, Aston Villa, Lyon. And then you go down, Real Betis in number 9, Dynamo Zagreb, Porto, Fenerbahce, Panathinaikos, Basel, Roma, Lille, Stuttgart, Go Ahead Eagles. I mean, surely Celtic should be above Go Ahead Eagles. Young Boys of Bren, Nottingham Forest, Bologna. And then you get to that's the ones that would be in a playoff. Now the ones that we're now into the zone of you're shite, and you know you are. But at least we're not on -7. Yeah. If that's all we've got to laugh at this season, it's a bad season. Rangers being the worst of the worst in Europe. Celtic are in 27th place. Can we get anything away to Feyenoord? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I don't think that we can. We're terrible away from home. Absolutely terrible. I mean, the fact that Malmo and everyone's below us. I mean, Feyenoord are below us, and we do have 1 point more than Feyenoord. Taking a draw, I don't think that it's going to get us up. And I mean, by the end of the campaign, I think that Celtic will sneak into a position that's above 24th position to get to a playoff. I think it will take us to the end of the campaign. I think it will take us a new manager coming in. New manager that hopefully is coming in on Friday afternoon by all accounts. It's looking like Friday that the new manager will be announced by Celtic. Celtic problem at the start of the season was Brendan Rodgers. It's the end of. Alright. Do you know what? I don't like doing this, but I'm going to put somebody on a timeout because you're spamming comments. You're now having a dig at other people, and it's not acceptable on this channel. Calling out folk and come and say that to my face. I'm sorry, mate. You don't go to games. You come in here every day, and I'm not having it on the channel. I'm not having it at all. So unfortunately, you're banned from the channel. I'm not having people. This is a safe place for people to come and talk about Celtic. I'm not having people come in and abuse people in the comment section that are so-called Celtic fans. Football is life. I've given you enough rope. You've hung yourself. I don't care if you unsubscribe. You're coming into the comment section. You're giving dogs abuse to people. You're now saying, come and say it to my face. That is not on. You're banned from the channel. Sorry. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Slagging off other Celtic fans and saying things like, come and say it to my face, you fucking lapdog, and all the rest of it. It's a community where people need to come and feel safe. And I'm not having that on the channel at all. And if you don't like it, if you don't like the fact that I do that, where I'm trying to make this place as safe as possible for people in the chat, I don't care. It's called the One Celtic Fans View. We're all allowed our views, but when you start getting abusive and personal to people, that's it. Yeah, there's no place for bullies. You talk shite anyway, says Michael. I don't like doing it, but when you start getting personal to people, it's not on. It's not on. And the thing is, if somebody did walk up to him in the street, he'd probably shite himself and run away. Anyway, that's enough of that. And I only did it because I seen him being really abusive to other people on it. So yeah, footballer's life is referring to Dermot Desmond, not Grab Boy. When I see someone say, come and say it to my face, that's enough for me. But anyway, we move on because it is all about Celtic, and we're trying to be positive this morning. Martin O'Neill's been putting in a shift for Celtic, and yeah, I know he's been doing it for days, mate. And I've given him chance after chance. I've just let him go, and it's not on. It's not on. But we put it to bed now. We move on. No prisoners bars. No, there isn't. I don't care. This channel has always been about letting as many people have their say as possible. And that has always been the way, I mean, this channel's been on the go since 2010. Don't know, and for people who think that, oh, you're all in it for the money, this channel was monetized in 2018. You know, I'm only sitting on this side of it because of circumstances, COVID and stuff. Anyway, can't wait to see Nancy. Let's get back into sounds. Anyway, can't wait to see Nancy going forward. Let's talk about Martin O'Neill last night. Martin O'Neill obviously taken in the game. He, before they fly out today, it's a busy time for Martin O'Neill. The last week of November. Remember the Martin O'Neill November, as should the song now be. Martin O'Neill is awaiting patiently for Wilfred Nancy to arrive in Glasgow and take over the reins of a cold, damp Glasgow evening, watching other teams in Scotland. Watching Hibernian last night, Hibs away to Motherwell. Celtic take on Hibernian this weekend, which looks like being the end of the Martin O'Neill era Mark II. When Martin O'Neill came into Celtic, it was fair to say that there was a lot of players feeling a little bit unloved by the manager. A lot of players feeling as if they'd been thrown under a Honda Civic. Told that they were driving Honda Civics. As they walk out to the car park at Lennoxtown and they look at their car and they stroke the £155,000 motor that they're driving, or whatever it is that modern day players are driving about in. They sit in the car and goes, "This is no fucking Honda Civic. Fuck you, Rodgers," and taking a bit of huff with them. Now that he's gone out of the building, it is time to get the new manager in. Martin O'Neill says, look, when the new manager comes in, it's a fresh start for him. You know, there hasn't been a party or anything happened in recent times, so let's just say, if I never manage a football club again, says Martin O'Neill, I'll be saying, look, whatever goes on has nothing to do with me. All I've got to do is I've got to try and win some good football games before the end of the month. Not just domestically, but in a European level. When he comes in next month, he's got a fresh start. He's going to step into something that's, you know, that's not been a concern of his. And that's the way that he should approach it. And I'm glad that Martin O'Neill said that. Because not only should the new manager come in, and not really have to think about the stuff that's going on with the board. He needs to be 100% laser focused on the fact that he needs to get off to a winning start. Because if he doesn't get on to a winning start, the Celtic fans will turn on him pretty quick. And that's just the way that football is. The way that Celtic fans are just now, everyone's on edge. They're unhappy with the board. They're unhappy with the tax rises that are going to come in this afternoon in the UK. They're unhappy with the fucking weather. Do you know, it's a case of football is always there to give you a relief on what is going on in life. It's an entertainment business. Do you know, it's to let you stop thinking about the negativity that's outside there. When you go to the pub and you jump on the bus, you forget about everything. You forget about your work. Do you know, when you go up to the pub and you're getting the supporters bus to the games, as soon as you order that first pint, everything that's went on that week has just left your mind. Everything. All the stresses of your work. All the negativity in your life. Because I feel that people should be going to the football and enjoy themselves. And that's what Wilfred Nancy is going to come here and do. He needs to make sure that the fans are enjoying themselves watching games. I'm going to wait for football to give me a relief from Celtic. That's a good one. But anyway, when the new manager does come in next week, he should take it with a pinch of salt what's going on outside Celtic. Because he's got one focus and one focus only. To get this team winning, to bring in players that entertain fans. You know, he'll be asked the questions of what do you think about the board? What do you think about the... And he's like, I don't care. I've just in the door. It's not my issue. I'm just here to pick a team, build a team, win games. And if he sticks to that, which I think he will, because I've watched some of his interviews, and I tell you, he's a fiery figure. We're going to get a man that will sit at press conferences, and he's not going to beat about the bush. He's not going to beat about the bush, that's for sure. And he's going to tell it as it is. And hopefully when he gets off to that winning start at the beginning of the month and then takes us on and wins the cup final for us, the fans will start becoming more at ease with the football side of things. Yes, there will still be protests, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be protests. There will still be protests against the board, but we can't be putting pressure on a manager because of a situation with a board from day dot. That's all I'm saying, and that's all that Martin O'Neill's saying. It's not like that he's passing the buck. Martin O'Neill said, I'm not making excuses. What I'm now doing is putting Celtic back in the game and play with a purpose, said Martin O'Neill. If the club have reached an agreement with Nancy and it brings him in at the end of the month, it will bring down a traumatic month for Martin O'Neill. And I wonder how he'll look back on it. And it would be lovely to get an interview. I mean, do you think he'll write a book about it? One crazy month in November when I went back to Celtic just for the hell of it. Because that's what it feels like, doesn't it? Anyway, let's turn our attention to Rotterdam. Rotterdam with that hardcore techno music that they love to play. They do that. They love their hardcore techno in Rotterdam. Celtic head over to Rotterdam in a bit of a pickle with a number of players missing out completely. It's not ideal for Celtic when you look at the Europa League table. What is the objective of Celtic? Is it just to get into the top 24 to try and get into the knockout phase? I think that would be the objective of any team right now, the way that we've been going. And I wonder what the new manager will make of it, because he'll definitely be sitting up wherever he is in the world, watching the game tomorrow night. I'm sure he took in the game at the weekend and thought, my God, this team needs a bit of work done to it. And I think it's also interesting as well that even though they're only here for one more game, that Martin O'Neill and all the backroom staff, because let's face it, McManus could be going back down to the B team, where he was in the B team, wasn't he? Fozzie, he could put out a job at the end of the month. But for the sake of Celtic, and even Sean Maloney at the game, I mean, Sean Maloney will be hoping that he goes back to his lone manager's role. But the fact that Martin O'Neill has got the other three lads out there watching games in the freezing cold, going proper old school, rather than relying on analytics, rather than relying on young Strachan and his iPad, Martin O'Neill went, nope, you could stick your analytics up your arse. We're going to watch the game. I don't want stats on what players did for 90 minutes. I want to see it with my eyes. I want to hear what they're going through in the game. I want to smell the fear coming out of Hibs because they know they're facing Celtic in the next game. And that's me just gone. That's it. We should just end the video at that point, should we? Probably better to. Anyway, let's jump into some of the comments and see what kind of abuse. It's not Martin O'Neill's board to take on the board unless he wants sacked. Sound effects, CSC. I hope they keep Fozzie, says Wiggle. Yeah, I hope they keep Fozzie too. I think that I think he's someone that could give the players a bit of a motivation, and I'm hoping that he doesn't get booted out the door altogether. A draw would be a very good result tomorrow, and it would a draw be a good result considering the way that we've played in Europe. We were completely trashed in the last game. Let's not beat about the bush. I mean, Midtjylland will be thinking that they're the team that, we keep playing like this, we can go on and win the competition. And I kind of hope that that's the way that Celtic would go into this year. We had such high hopes and we came off such high expectations after the fantastic run in the Champions League last year, playing above our level. But when we get to the level that many fans think that we should be at, I hope that when the new manager comes in it gives us that little bit of boost. Do you know? And how will he take it? Because I mean, he's not played, he's not managed in a European context, but you know, he's a good manager. You can't say he's not a good manager. Folk that are saying he's absolutely shite, it's way off the mark. And I think that it could be the fact that maybe this manager coming in is the kind of boost that Celtic need. Playing 3 out for the back. How many fans have been calling for us, including myself, to change it to a 3 in the back in Scottish football? I think that the way forward, not even in for Celtic in Scotland, but in Europe, has been a long overdue change of formation. Anyway, Martin O'Neill can't do anything wrong. He came in when we needed him. Love his attitude. Yeah. Don't know. Hibs blew up last night. It'll be a struggle at the weekend. Yeah, we'll probably struggle at the weekend. Sit-in protest after the game. What's your view on it? I don't think that they achieve anything, because the board get up and walk away into the stadium and then they just call police in to get you out. From the start, I said that we should, if you want to do protests, we need to do protests outside Celtic Park, at the front door, between the car park where they all park their cars, and they need to run the gauntlet. The old board had to run the gauntlet through fans. We're letting this board off with... We're letting them off with it easy. Do you know, the protests... A sit-in protest that isn't going to achieve... It's not going to get them to fucking resign. Not a chance. What pressure is that putting onto them? You know, get them... I've been said for the start, why aren't we protesting outside the grounds on a daily basis? Watching these people walk into work every day, putting pressure on them. If you want protest, if you want change, that's the only way you're going to do it. I don't know. I don't know the way that they're going to go with protests, and we'll just wait and see. We need to win tomorrow night, says Paul Baird. We do, if we have any ambition to really go up. Our away form is diabolical. It is that. It's. But how does it change? We've went through various types of manager in Europe over the years. I mean, even Ronnie Dyler was brought in to try and change your European form, and that didn't really work out. Brendan Rodgers brought in to take us to an elite level, change your European form. Didn't really work out. People will say it's not the manager's fault, it's the board's fault. It's the manager that ultimately knows the budget for the summer, and it's up to him to bring in the type of player that can get us there. And it also needs to be a manager that isn't stuck. We've had 2 managers now, and Ange Postecoglou, that wouldn't change formation, wouldn't change tactics, wouldn't change formation. We loved the way he played, but in a European context, you had to defend deeper. Brendan Rodgers last year changed his tactics after we got humiliated in Dortmund. He went really defensive in Italy, and we got a result in Italy. It was a draw, but it was we had to fight for the draw, and then he reverted back. Do you know, we need a manager, and hopefully Wilfried Nancy is the man. Hopefully he is the man. A draw would be great. We are shite in Europe. Do you know, maybe a manager that we don't know an awful lot about, and we give him the free reins. You know, you're giving them the keys to paradise, and right now, according to an ex-manager, it's the keys to a Honda Civic. If he comes in and he gets it back, he takes over the keys from Martin O'Neill, which is now a Ferrari that Martin O'Neill would be driving. It's not a top of the range Ferrari, but it's not a Honda Civic, that's for sure. And maybe this guy coming in, with fans not having a big expectation of him, can sometimes work in your favour. Because when people don't have a big expectation of you, when you then start to overachieve in their eyes, it then becomes a good thing. But then again, when you start raising the bar, as we've done at Celtic, we've won. Look at the trebles we've won. Look at the titles we've won over the years. But we find ourselves in the position that we are with the board, not acting quick enough and not investing money quick enough. You think Nancy should stay in the background until January, get to know the players and staff, let Martin O'Neill win the League Cup? Nah, it's not the way that managers work. Managers will want to come in, and he has to be on the training ground every day. He has to be on the training ground. There's no use I'm just standing at the side. Do you know, he has to start getting his ideas over. He has to start seeing what staff, what positions that he needs to bring in. I mean, everyone's now talking about the fact that there's going to be at least 7 players coming in the next window. There's quite a few publications now talking about that there could be 7 players coming in the next transfer window. I don't think there's ever been 7 players coming in the winter window. It's always difficult. It's always to the later end of the window, which is not ideal for Celtic. But if we can get 1 or 2 players in at the start of January, that will show fans that the board have been proactive, that the manager's been proactive, and it may help settle things down a bit with feelings towards the manager, not the board. It may help fans settle down and feel a bit more at ease with the manager by that time. And then hopefully, as he starts turning things around, playing his style of football, embedding his thoughts and his way of playing the game into the players, and if all turns out good, it should be a fantastic time. If it doesn't turn out good, well, the track board things is just going to go to DEFCON 9, isn't it? Finals are not a team we should worry about. We'll beat them tomorrow. I'm loving your confidence. I am doing no crazy predictions for it tomorrow. We may do a prediction video. We'll do that. We'll do a prediction video tonight, but I'm not giving a scoreline because I think that we'll just wait and see. I'm just running through. It's not the weather for sitting protests. Yeah, there is that, isn't it? It's too cold. Who wants to sit at minus whatever? Let me just check something out whilst I'm in the live. I do love it when folk have second accounts. Ay. Anyway, Celtic news wise, we'll wait on Martin O'Neill taking to the media today. We'll see what he was saying, if anything, about the game last night and the fact that Hibs have Hibsed it. And we'll look forward to his thoughts on his final Europa League match for Celtic. It's kind of sad when you say that because, I mean, he was the man that did do so well for us in 1 year in Europe. I'm just looking at a team that Celtic once played. Have been liquidated. Boa Vista. Wow, there you go. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this morning. It's just a quick one this morning. Make sure you join us at 8 p.m. Celtic part-time tonight. And might be on before then once we see what Martin O'Neill has to say as well. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.